What is up, people? Welcome back. Light Warriors Unleashed podcast, episode 69. You know what's so funny is that I wish I would have paid attention to the episode number before I hit record and spoke to you about ancestral healing and lineage lines and what does it mean to clear our ancestral lineage lines, because I probably would have stepped in to speak to you guys about something sexual because that would have been way more fun. And now I'm like, shit. I missed the mark. And there's no way that I can go back because I speak about timeline, like stuff I did today, on the podcast, and it's relevant. So we're going to talk about ancestral lineage lines today, and we're going to talk about healing our ancestral lines and what it means to also heal past life ancestral lineage lines. And what does this mean in the collective right now? Why is it showing up? Why is this moving through? I go into a deep dive on it and I'm like, shit. Maybe I can go back in and add something about sex. No, I'm just joking. I'm good. I'm clear. I'm centered. I'm aligned. I desire this. I'm ready to go. And here we go. Let's do it. Episode 69, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. What is going on, beautiful people? I'm excited to be back. And it's funny. So just so you guys are aware, a topic drops in and literally I hit record, and that's how I do all of my solo episodes, channeled in this beautiful energy. But earlier this week, a concept and conversation dropped into my field that I was actually taking notes on. Can you believe that? Taking notes on. And that is crazy and unheard of. And this is not the podcast that I'm going to be delivering it out to you in. I will be recording it though in the next couple days because I'm headed back to Winnipeg to see my family, and I'm not bringing any recording equipment to Winnipeg on purpose. So I've got to make sure I do my solo episode before I leave, so that it's ready to go and that we have it and it's in the hopper, or else I'm going to have to record it on shady equipment and my producer will not be impressed by that. However, on another note, I was sitting here, literally just finished leaning into and guiding the Ancestral Reunion Circle. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm a spiritual guide. It's one of my titles, we'll call it. And every month for the last 18 months, I've been leading a circle. And the circle is in a spiritual connected energy in some way, shape, or form. And usually I channel a deity, some kind of goddess, some kind of collective of energy. Mostly the gatherings are used for collectives under certain energetic fields, like multiple people. But the circles are usually positioned for a certain energy. So let's just say Yimoha was in October and she's the goddess of all that flows. Or when I channeled Mary Magdalene, or I channeled Mother Mary inside of the space of things. And every month for literally, I started doing these circles in 2020. Oh my God. But at least for the last 2 years, I've been doing them very regularly. And it may even be 2 years that I've been doing them every single month. And earlier this year, when I tapped into the subjects and who was going to be leading the circles every month, because what happens is I sell them in packages and people can buy them all for the year. They can buy them for a certain amount of entities or energies that I'm serving within. And when it dropped in that December's circle was going to be the reunion of the ancestors, I had no idea what that meant. But I was just like, I'm game on. And over the months, it's been starting to build and build and build. Ancestor healing, clearing our lineage lines. And I'm really feeling called today to step into the space to talk about what the fuck this ancestral work is, because some of you have no idea. And some of you are like, I think I have an idea. And as you can tell, I'm really fidgety right now because I've been holding a lot of energy today and I'm a bit tired, but I know I've got to get this done. And I'm coming to you with a very open heart. So if you ever listen to the ayahuasca podcast that I did the day after I did ayahuasca, it's very fucking real and straight up. I kind of feel that way tonight. So just giving you a warning at this moment of time as you're listening to this to be like, Colleen Unleashed, fucking amazing, right? So over the last few months, I have my rattle beside me. This energy of ancestors has been dropping in. And it's starting to show up a lot in some of the Akashic Records work that I've been doing about clearing the ancestor lineage. And, consciously, I understand what this means, is that In our ancestor lines, like let's just stick into this life for right now for this conversation. In our ancestor lines, we've had spells and curses put upon us. Like this is actually a thing. Like, and a lot of people believe this, right? So even if they aren't into spirituality, some of them are like, oh yeah, my family had a major curse, and one, a decade in my grandfather's life, we believed he was cursed. Like this is an actual thing. And people talk about this without even knowing spirituality, what curses are, what spells are, and how they're created. They just believe in this. So this doesn't come outside of the normal when I talk to you about ancestor lineage. But what's happening right now in the collective is that we're being called forward to heal our ancestor lineage lines from struggle, doubt, chaos, rejection, anger, fear, like all of the low vibing emotions. Because in order for us to fully embody our light and to step fully into this mission on earth, we need to do the healing work within ourselves. But that also is connected to ancestor lineage energy. And you may have seen through social media posts and over the last at least year, people have been talking about we are the ones being called forward. And if you've been seeing that energy, then you are the one in your ancestral lineage line that's being called forward to heal the ancestor lineage line. And if you are listening to this podcast, I can guarantee you are being called forward to heal the ancestor lineage line because you already see life differently than what your mom does, than what your family does, than how you grew up. Maybe it's in wealth and being able to hold money. Maybe it's in freedom and being able to be liberated from the infrastructure. Maybe it's in where you're moving to or how you raise your kids or how you show up in the world. Some of you are huge in advocating. That is a desire for you to step into the space. And that is actually so needed in these moments of time in the collective and what we're moving through and how this is showing up in the world. This is a thing. So when we talk about this, healing our ancestor lineage line, you're going to get pinged right now if you haven't done that work and you know that you need to. You're going to get pinged. You're going to be like, fuck, I totally need to do this work. I know you do because it's going to drop into your field and you're going to feel it. Now, what this could look like, a couple folds. It could be an Akashic Records reading where you dive into your actual ancestral lineage records to find out what needs to move. When you are dealing with someone who does Akashic Records work and they actually do clearing work in the records, most likely it's going to show up if something needs to come through for them. If they're trained in certain modalities, that is. Not everyone's trained the same. Some people are trained in different ways. Some people are like literally working out of an old vibration. Discernment is key in this dynamic field, okay? But if you're living in the light and you're being called to be served by someone, most likely it's the right person. Next, you're going to know inside of you that the chaos that you've been having for all these years and the chaos you've seen your mom in and the chaos you've seen your grandmother in, most likely is chaos rooted in your ancestral line or the lack scarcity energy that you've been fighting up against your whole entire life. Most likely that's rooted in your ancestral line. So when you start to literally look at this with this kind of eye on things, you start to feel in a different energy. Now let's bring in a new layer. Never mind your bloodline. Okay. Yeah. You chose your bloodline. You chose to drop in. You chose to be the person that's going to come in, save the day. Okay. And I say that with so much love and respect because trust me, I'm saving the day too. Okay. Like we're all saving the days together. But let's talk about your past life lineage. This is also a thing. All the lives that you've lived. Some of you have lived hundreds of lives on this earth. Some of you, like me, have not lived as many lives on this earth because I only incarnate when the blueprint of the earth is off. And apparently there's been some years where we've gotten it right. We're in a massive transition right now in the Earth Collective, though, and you know this to be true already. Massive. We're seeing the divide everywhere. Shit's gonna hit the fan still, okay? And that's not a prediction. That is an actual statement that you can quote me on. Shit's still gonna hit the fan. Some of you already thought that shit hit the fan. No. That's why I'm in the jungle. I can go fucking get lost with the monkeys if I need to. I can live off the land eating mangoes and avocados every single day. Would it satiate my diversity energy for food? No, but I could stay alive in the jungle, right? That's a whole other podcast though. Okay, we'll talk about that another day. We'll talk about my predictions for 2024 in a podcast episode so you can timestamp it. I'll go there. I do have the gift of prophecy. Not that I want to speak it out into the world in full form that way, because sometimes it's scary as fuck for a lot of people, but sometimes we need to hear the truth. You know what I heard today on a training that I was taking? The highest frequency on earth is truth. The highest frequency on earth is truth. And I went, fuck yeah, it is. That's what I said. Fuck yeah. That is. And sometimes the truth fucking hurts. And the truth irritates the shit out of us. And the truth is that thing that we don't really want to hear because we've been in our bubbles doing our thing and we don't want to know. We're going to know sooner than later. So let's go back to past lives and lineage and past lives. So let's say that you've been living 100 times on this earth experience. You have, maybe you've been in your bloodline before, because that's actually a thing. Like you could have incarnated like way up in the line and then incarnated again. And some of you may be like, logically, I'm like, we're not talking about logic here, okay? We're talking about spirituality. It has nothing to do with the mind. So get out of your fucking head. That could have happened for you. But in past lives, let's say maybe out of the 100, you've lived 88 separate fucking bloodlines. So you are holding energy most likely similar, because I don't think it would be that diverse where they'd be like, let's fuck her up and give her 88 fucking things to clear. You know, I don't feel like that's really a thing. And even though your soul is probably all in for adventure, I feel like we get a little bit more grace than that. You know, maybe it's like 20 main things that you get to lean into and move within. So let's say that that is a thing. So now we have all these past lives to be able to heal, because we cannot be fully embodied in our wholeness and in our oneness until our energy is cleared in all of these. We may not be able to do it in one life, but if you're listening to this podcast right now, you are already doing it, have done some of it, or are about to start doing it. And inside of the space right here, right now, we are clearing the shit out of these lines, out of these past lives. We're going in to do deep work in past lives to remove cords of energy, roots of energy, of things that are happening in our life, like pain, like anger, like resentment, like distortion, like the fucking spell that someone put in 1784 in that past life that you used to live. This is the work we're doing as Akashic Records readers, and the work I do consistently all the time with one-to-one clients. Your doubt and disconnect with this life most likely is rooted somewhere else. Another life in your ancestral lineage somewhere along the way. And our job together is to clear it. If you are my client, if you're in a program, if you take any service of mine. Now you're listening to this and maybe you're like, Colleen, like, I don't want to work with you, or blah, 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 whatever it is. And that's cool, right? Because if we're meant to work together, it will align in whatever way. But if you're feeling this energy right now, there's some shit in your past that maybe you need to go back to. Some shit that you need to pay attention to or to look at for you to actually start to have the real talk conversation. Because I want to say this to you. We are not linear. This isn't your first rodeo. Okay? And like, I guarantee you this isn't your first rodeo. If you're in my world, you've been to this earth more than once. I do not deal with newbies to the earth experience. Okay? They're not in my field. Unless they're accelerated newbies that they like wake up one day with all this fucking power and they need to harness it. Maybe. But most of them can't handle my energy. So maybe they try. Okay, we'll put it that way, because I'm being told right now, you have one in your fields. And I'm like, oh yeah. Well, she stepped up and now I can't find her. So we'll see what happens. Like, I don't know, like what that looks like. Where has she been? I have no idea where she is. And it takes her like 2 weeks to answer my messages. So I don't know where she is. And I'm okay with that, because she's off doing something. And I hope that it's in alignment with what she's meant to do on earth, because I just hope that for her, you know, inside of this space. So this isn't your first rodeo. You've been around multiple times, most likely. And you're just maybe swallowing this pill right now at this moment of time going, fuck, she's right. I am. And not that I always want to be right, but the deities I channel are all in the purity of light. So I step into the space and just listen, and I deliver what they say. And most of the time it's on point, and not because it's me, but because I actually have learned how to listen, which is shocking, because in other parts of my life, I don't. You know, like in other parts of my life where I have a little more fluidity, I rebel, right? I'm in this space right now where I'm in a major growth period, but it's also one of the most painful periods I've ever been in my whole entire life. Disassociation, cutting cords, relationships that seem to be something that aren't any longer. And I've spoken to this already on the podcast, but it's like I'm being pushed into a corner. And it's been an interesting journey over the last few months, and how this is showing up. And I'm allowing this to come through. And I'm in this new energy of what I'll call a new wave of riding a new wave, and the ups and downs of that wave, and discovering who I am in that wave, and what do I really want to hold in my energetic field, and what is this integrity moving through me, and how do I show up this way, and how do I keep the commitments that I've been asked to keep and still sleep at night? Because it's a little bit heavy some days, and it's hard to hold space for some people that don't want you to hold space for them. So then I try not to, but then they come to you anyways. And then you're like, dude, you told me not to hold space for you, but you're here anyways. And it's like, I'm playing in a game I don't want to play in sometimes. And I'm like, and it's hard sometimes to speak that truth into the world, right? It's hard for us to break the patterns. It's hard for us to break the patterns in our ancestral lineage and in our own life. And if you're the one that's been called forward, because you're listening to this right now, you're the one. I'm sorry, you are the one. I live and breathe by the philosophy of I go first. And I'm starting to see a pattern in the people that are attracted to work with me. And I go, oh, fuck. It's because I go first. I need to break this pattern in order for them to be able to step through and into this space. And I go, fuck, right? The same thing probably for you. You go first, man. You're the one that's going first to help bust open, this mechanism, this energy for your people, for your adventures, for your lineage line. You do the healing work, you get to heal your mom. However, she also has a free will choice. So she doesn't want your healing. She doesn't have to accept it. But by you doing the energetic work, it's now a possibility for her. For her just to say, yes, I'll accept it. But guess what also happens? You transition it into your kids, birthed or unbirthed, meaning if they're coming into the world still, you're going to have more babies, or if they're already in this world, because the energetic tie between you and your kids is a permanent tie, unless you decide to sever the cord, which is a lot more than just a cord cutting, by the way. This is what I'm being told. I've never severed a cord from a parent and a child that way, of full separation. Even when they pass over, if they die, and obviously I don't wish that upon anyone, but if they pass over before the mother passes over, the cord stays intact unless it's cut. And that's a whole other cord cutting ceremony, which apparently, I need to add into my level 3 manual for Akasha Records work. This just dropped in. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay, I will get that into the manual, everybody who's talking through me at this very moment of time. And get that out and ready for my meeting in January with level 3. But I just want you to really feel this energy moving through you. What are you being called to heal? What's the story that's been playing out in your family for all these years that is no longer serving you guys? Yeah, and maybe you're like, oh my God, the struggle calling never served us. Well, it did, because someone kept the line open. Someone didn't do the work. Someone didn't heal it. And now it got to you. So someone kept that line open and said, it's okay that we're struggling. We're going to stay in the same pattern, the same mechanism. And maybe it was your great grandfather who then embedded it into your father, who embedded it into you, right? Or great grandfather, grandfather, father, you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what it is for you. I don't know what it is. What is the patterns that have been cycling in your worlds recently or in the past and now is showing up again? These are the things that we look for in ancestral healing. These are the things that are coming up into the space of time for us to break. This is the energy right here. You having courage, you being bold, you speaking your truth, you stepping into your space of owning your power, you dismantling the mechanism in your whole entire family that says a woman cannot be a millionaire. I don't know. What is it for you? Because I'm watching a lot of them transcend in my energy field, and I'm watching it happen for other people, and I go, fuck yes. Let's fucking go. And let's bring in the ancestors to help us. So in the circle that I literally just channeled into tonight and led tonight, we healed something in the ancestral lineage line as a collective together. And each individual that was on and each person that gets the recording will do their own healing. But in Catapult, one of the programs that I led in the energy of money, literally in day 5, we bring in the ancestor lineage line. And I cried in that transmission because they were so fucking happy that they were finally going to be liberated from scarcity and lack. And I went, holy shit, this is bigger than I've ever thought of before. And I know the possibility of energy we work within. And I know the possibility of us being able to move energy through and being able to collapse time and being able to be all the things and to actually heal this. But I have watched people that have done that activation from Catapult actually align themselves in more money in a short period of time than they've ever been able to imagine in the past. Easy, with grace. And I went, when you clear your lineage line, you get to fuck some shit up in the future in beautiful, amazing ways. And this is a thing. So a couple things, like I normally don't promote stuff. Like you guys have access to like a free offer always. If something aligns with what I'm talking about, I'll mention it. But I'm going to put the Catapult program into the show notes. If you feel called to it, go and take a look and feel into that. That's about healing money energy in your field and allowing you to step into the space. Because a lot of our shit storms with money is not coming from you. Well, it could be because you've taken on all the energy of this all and you made a conscious choice somewhere in your life that you were going to follow the rules of what that meant. But you can make a decision today to fucking change the game. In all the ways of your life, you can make a decision today to change the game. By healing, by moving through, by having courage, by asking for help, by submitting in your relationship, by actually fucking asking for what you want. All of this, believing in possibilities, busting open your belief systems, actually owning all the parts of you. I could walk you through so many scenarios of how this can show up in your world, but I already feel like I'm complete. Like there's an energy here for you to play within. There's an energy here calling you forward. You know if you have work to do here. And if you do, and you're like, Colleen, I just want to talk to you about it. Let's get on a call. I'll talk to you about it. This is the work that I'm opening up an office in Costa Rica for. Past life exploration, ancestral healing work, energy work, all the things. You, my beautiful friend, have the ability to maneuver your life in whatever way possible that you desire. You just need to choose it and believe it and step the fuck into it. And when you do, everything changes. With that being said, you know what to do. Help us out. Tag me, take a photo of this, record a part of the video if you're watching on YouTube. Help share it out, send it to a friend, whatever this means. I love you. I'm so grateful that you're here, that your ear is in this vibration with me, that you're calibrating in this space with me. And I'll see you guys all again in the next episode.